Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take a Ride. This is episode 157. Episodes are brought to you by the following sponsors. These people help me get it out to you, and it's important that you support them. Show them love any way you can. Social media, buy some of their products. It's really great that they're on board. So please, if you can, just take a second, like their stuff, give them a shout out, tell them that you heard of them through the show. So I have a new sponsor this week. Let's start off with Los Cabos drumsticks. If you listen to episode 146, I did an episode with Phil, their A&R guy. They're Canada's #1 drumstick manufacturer. They have 20 different stick models, 3 different types of woods. They offer drumsticks for any style. If you're a jazz player, a death metal player, they'll have a stick that you can fall in love with. They have 16 percussion tools. In addition to that, and they make a really great stick. I've been a Los Cabos drummer for a while, and I found, at least for me, that they were durable. That's the first thing for me. I needed something that would really last and also didn't feel like giant logs in my hand. I use the 5A Intense. They're super durable sticks. They're kind of lightweight in your hand, but still powerful. Phil and his family, they're doing really cool things in supporting people like me, and also it's cool that they're from Canada. They're from the East Coast there, so show them some love on social media. They're actively posting on there. If you guys need a drumstick, I 100% say get Los Cabos. So many different styles. Go to loscabosdrumsticks.com and you can find out more information there. Next, we have Heartbeat Hot Sauce. They are a hot sauce company from Thunder Bay. They were featured on season 6 of Hot Ones. If you don't know what Hot Ones is, take the time to YouTube that. It's a great interview show. It's fantastic. I'm a little jealous actually of how awesome it is. They do really good job. They do deep dives on the research, or they do a lot of research, I should say. And they have really great questions. But this hot sauce is a fantastic hot sauce. It's peppers are fermented using traditional methods before being cooked with a few simple, high-quality ingredients. There's no water added or thickening agents or chemical preservatives of any kind, and it makes their sauce as natural as it gets. You can find it across Canada and in the States, I think even in Europe. If you go to heartbeathotsauce.com, I think there's like a where to buy button, and you can find stuff there. Also, if you use promo code TakerWide5, you get 5% off of your cart, and this is good if you're going in with a bunch of people on a big order. Save some money that way. But it's a fucking amazing hot sauce. Legit. I could hype it up all I want, but you have to try it, and you'll more than likely agree. It's so goddamn good. They have a bunch of different types. Try the red habanero. I think that's a good intro to it. Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Next, we have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. If you are looking for a car salesman that you can trust, that isn't a sketchy scumbag, Rigo's the furthest thing from that. Rigo's a good friend of mine. He's been supporting me, and he supports the DIY ethic, obviously, because he's sponsoring the show. And he's a family man. He's a great dude. He's an honest guy. He's a fun guy. He'll make the process easy. You can trust this dude. If you or your parents or someone you know is looking for a new vehicle, throw Kevin's name in the hat. 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. And special pricing on new vehicles when you mention the show. Find him on Facebook, give him a like, tell him hello. Next, we have Ironclad Graphics. They're a screen printing shop in Kingston, and they specialize in apparel printing. If you're a band or a business or a record label, or if you need something silk screened and printed, get a hold of these guys. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive with their pricing. They did my shirts. They've done Sab shirts, Gruber shirts. They do koozies, hats, patches, everything. Go to ironcladgraphics.com. Take a look and just try it out. I don't know. There's so many merch companies and people can print out of their basements, but this is a legit company. They've been doing it for 10 plus years. So yeah, Ironclad Graphics, definitely pro shit. We have Dapper Beard Oil is next. It's a beard oil from Ottawa. My friend Andrew runs it. He was on episode 77, if you want to listen to that. It's 100% natural ingredients. It's ethically sourced. It'll help hydrate. It helps repair your beard. It's antibacterial. It reduces beard dandruff. Andrew's really made some fantastic beard oil in that it's not. I don't want to say stinky because that's not the right word, but it's not an overpowering scent. It's kind of subtle and nice. It's functional as far as a beard oil. You can go to dapperbeardoil.com and read more and check out more stuff there. And if you use the promo code TakerWide free ship, that's just one word, TakerWide free ship, you get free shipping on your beard oil, which is great. So do that. The last one here is, Wellington Brewery. Wellington Brewery is Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery. They craft award-winning beers in small batches using the freshest all-natural ingredients. I was sipping on an SPA for this episode. And, they're a great company. They make really good beers, and they're kind of close to home, and I'm super proud to be sponsored by them. If you're out and about, grab a Welly. Try a Welly on, I think that's the saying. And that's it. That's it for the sponsors this week. So this week I'm talking to Josh Ligaya. He's been on before. Josh is the guitar player in Auras, which is a progressive metal band from Waterloo here. We talk about the new album. We talk about, the business, I guess. But Josh is a legit guy. He's a good friend, and always happy when he comes on. So hopefully you guys enjoy. This is 257 with Josh. Huh?
Good. Good.
There you go.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Official. Cheers.
Cheers.
You got to look each other in the eye when you do it. You go like this.
I don't look in the
And
eye.
then you go on a table.
On a table? I don't have a table, but I did on the sidearm here.
Shout out to Wellington for the SPAs.
SBA. Yeah, this is good.
After, if we're crushing beers, I got a heavy stout and really strong. It's this one.
Yeah, I'm not much of a
Chocolate milk stout.
especially when they start putting in like the chocolate
Mud.
milk mud. Yeah, like a little bit of like sweetness.
It's good.
I just can't body it. You know what I mean? I actually haven't had a beer in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna get shit faced, dude.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's do
Let
it.
out all your industry secrets.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's been a
Pornhub.
couple. I can't say a couple of years. It's been a while since we've been on, but
Yeah, man.
this is like I think your fifth appearance.
I mean, we've had a couple with Ray.
Yeah,
It's a little Monsuki Brothers thing, but
I can
yeah.
look it up, but it's been
probably like 4.
last one was in the hall, and there's stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I guess so. If people unfamiliar, I did the intro already. But Josh is the main man in Auras, and honestly, seems like it's been quiet, and it has been. I think since we last talked.
It really has been quiet. Actually, we just had someone from the label just give me a call like earlier this week just to kind of get a bio put together. So he just asked me a bunch of questions about the album and just kind of been like, hey, like it's been like since 2016. I was like, shit.
That was the last tour you guys did?
That was the last, not tour, but that's the last when we released our record, our last record.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been like 3 years.
Yeah, I guess, eh? Is that... Because, again, you're in a different kind of world. Is that, like, too long of amount of a time between record releases? Or, like, do you see your friends and your peers releasing more shit more frequently? Or is it kind of on par with, like...
I don't know. Like, I think, like, if we wanted to push it earlier, we could have. But I kind of like not being rushed for it and actually spend time on the record. Because I think that was, like, what we wanted to do is really spend some time on this one and try some, like, different approaches. And I think we obviously needed a little bit more time with that. But I think it was needed, to be honest.
Well, I feel... so you have to remind me, the last time we talked... you were going to... What's a quick recap? You were going to be working with someone to see if you liked
Trying to
what
remember.
they were doing. I think you went to Wisconsin or something?
No, actually, so we...
I should have, like, re-listened to
No,
that episode.
yeah. Let's listen to us listening to the podcast. I think we were talking about going up to Michigan, to Detroit, or... to do some pre-production. That was like the big thing that we wanted to try. a little bit differently this time, because typically what we would do is we would do the pre-production on our own. So we would just kind of lock ourselves in Nathan's basement and just, do like a really rough draft of what we were doing, and then kind of after that just get ready to track and then just do it. But this time around, Carl from Good Fight wanted us to kind of go outside of our heads a little bit and go with someone else that might bring a new approach to the album. And to be honest, it did. It was nice to get an ear in the room that can give you the feedback. You know what I mean? We never really had that. And I know we're kind of set in our ways for certain things, but it's kind of good to have someone kind of pick out our brains a little bit and be like, how about you do this instead? Or I feel like you should do this. And then when they reframe like some of the songs, and you're just like, oh, wow. You're like, yeah, that's different. And I'm actually glad that was brought up. So I was always down to get more heads in it, but just like the way we've been doing it, we're like, don't do anything else, because it's just it's good the way it is. There's no point to. There's a phrase for that.
Don't fix it if it's not broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
We might be like reiterating the last episode, but so what's the guy's name?
Nick Sampson.
Nick Sampson.
So yeah, he's a producer out in the States there in Michigan. And
did he also like engineer it? And so you went to the studio?
No, this was more like
just spend
down like 5 days. Like we came up with some stuff. Very very rough, like few bounce backs between computers and stuff. And I was like, yo, let's go to a guy, sit down with him, see what he thinks, and just kind of be locked in a room for 8 hours and see what comes out at the end.
What did this guy like? What are some of his credentials?
Of course, he was in a band called I'm Abomination.
Okay.
Which was a very popular, I would say, progressive metalcore band back in the day. But he's also done production for a lot of some big names like Polyphia, Born of Osiris. He recently did. He's done like We Came as Romans. He's done Miss May I. The names, it's endless.
And he's done the same sort of treatment where he produced their records as far, because now
for them, yeah, like I think some of them did pre-pro with him and then tracked and then he mixed it.
Okay.
Where we just went for just the pre-production purpose of it. We weren't gonna get it mixed or engineered by him. It was merely sit down, get in a studio with a guy who can kind of rework some things, and that's exactly what happened.
Was there a big sort of not eye-opening moment, but were you surprised with how much input he put in, or surprised with how little he put in?
I was surprised on how little he put in. Not saying that he didn't do anything. It was like, I thought he would have a lot more to say, but there was like parts where he was like, no, leave it the way it is. Like, I wouldn't touch it. And like, there were just small, tasteful tweaks, which almost made the songs and kind of, changed an approach for us. You know what I mean? And I think one of them would be,
Okay, hold up. Sorry, dad duty. What were we just saying?
I think it was I was surprised of the like little things he changed of our music that we had brought to him, but he did actually contribute insight for certain parts and for certain songs, and something that we valued a lot.
Do you guys follow because it's super technical, but I feel like in the time I've known you, like let's say from Panacea, is that the one?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of the first one I might have heard. To now, is it more like was he suggesting more structure as like intro, verse, like chorus, like, but you guys don't really follow that, but was he kind of suggesting that?
Yes, it wasn't even that he suggested that. We wanted that kind of approach.
Okay.
And
why did you want that approach?
Because we wanted to make parts more memorable.
Okay.
A lot of the music that we've done in the past, would just progress over time, and we wouldn't repeat anything. We wouldn't bring any themes back. It would just be part, something new. But like I was like, we've done like so many albums like this. Like, let's try and structure it and package it in a way that's a lot more presentable. And that's something we wanted to experiment with this time and see if it was even possible. And with the streaming world too, is like you really want to find that hook or find that memorable aspect to a song, so that you play it again and keep playing it and keep playing it, and that's what I really wanted this time around. And he was from what I heard, he was the guy to do it. He's huge into melody, he's huge into hooks and structure. He loves structure, and sitting with him and seeing how he's viewing our music and rearranging it in certain ways opened our eyes as to like the value of keeping a theme and having something that is structured and more a little more planned. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I get it. I was talking to John from Monster Truck. He was on here. And
nice.
And
yeah, I saw that.
They're a big fucking band, and he was talking about the difficulty in like writing new, good, memorable songs. Like,
right.
It's you hear like, let's say Monster Truck or more of a traditional sort of verse chorus,
right?
Standard type song. And on my end, I don't write music as far as that end. I just write drums, but it must be so hard to kind of dig for gold in like all these like nuggets, because it's all obviously you guys can all play, you guys can execute, but like the trying to be like, that's the biggest nug of gold here that we can present as like, here's a good song that you'll remember. And
exactly, yeah.
I think do you think it's just age and experience that brings you to kind of like veer away from like the difficult, because like let's say even from my bands Tugnut to Sabatini, it's a total different thing,
right.
And I don't know.
You think Sab has more structure?
100%. Oh my god. And
how does that make you feel when you play those songs versus like Tugnut?
It's funny because it's well, you probably think this too, like even a simple groove is funner to play than like thinking. Yeah. And that's me performing, but I can only assume on the listener side, there's weirdos who like the and I say that endearingly, but that like the challenge of listening.
The challenge, right?
But I don't know, music sometimes for me doesn't. I don't want to think. I just want to feel it out.
Right. So that is a huge thing. Like if you listen to Helio Spectrum for some of the songs, like some of them are just like, it sounds weird, but hard to listen, because for me, like we just kept digging and digging. Like there's a song Ripple Effect where nothing, actually one thing repeats, but like in a different way. And like, it just takes you on this journey, which is like cool. But for me to play it, and like I don't have that emotional attachment to any of the parts because we only play it once.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll finish like the one intense part and be like, okay, that was cool, but like I don't get to do it again. And you know what I mean? Like
it's like you are. I feel when I'm younger and we were playing this really difficult stuff, it's kind of to impress, it's like, listen how crazy and how fast and how nuts we
Look
are.
at the boundaries we can push, you know what I mean?
But I think that's enjoyable to try to do that, but I think it's hard to come to terms with writing what might be simple, but still get as much out of a simple song that you would out of pushing yourself and maybe writing something that kind of is for someone else, like to turn it back to yourself and be like, I want to play this 4/4 thing, and I'm getting as much enjoyment out of this as I was when I was fucking ripping the shit out of it, because that's fun. Like if you can rip,
it's fun.
I'm sure that's super fun. I don't know what that's like,
but I think I feel like it's always nice to breathe in your music.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like you guys, it's so crushing and so
it just keeps going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You don't really. Which is cool about it, like it's punishing, but the stuff I've heard, like I don't know if I can.
Yeah, no, yeah. You've heard it.
I've heard
you've heard a few of the tracks, and that's fine.
And it's the way that you could describe it as breathable and breathing,
right?
Is
exactly
that's a good way to actually that term fits.
Yeah, breathing. It allows you to kind of like recoup yourself and like.
If something's too punishing too much, it's can be that, but
use it tastefully, right?
yeah, sometimes like I'll be just not into like the fastest, grooviest type stuff because
Right.
it's just too much. It's just like fuck.
Yeah,
that might even just be maybe age, but
No,
I don't know.
I think it's just like you listen to music for a long time. You're like, and I'm saying you've probably been listening to music your entire life, and same with me. And I was really intrigued by like progressive metal and just prog in general and things that are outside the box.
Now why? Like why?
Well, I think as a musician,
It's just like wow.
Well, especially if you're a writer, and like for me, like writing is what I do. Like I find myself more of a writer than a guitar player. So when I can listen to a band and I'm like, what are they doing? Like they're so out there in terms of writing and their approaches to what they're trying to like do in their music, and that is really eye-opening for me as a writer. It's just seeing people push boundaries, like no matter if that means like just doing a different kind of chord progression or a different time signature or just being really, really fucked up. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Car Bomb.
Yeah.
Car Bomb. See, that is like the most recent, that's the most recent like album where I listened to it. I was like, I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while since an album actually did that to me.
Yeah, word.
And at that time when I've been listening to just more laid back stuff like Contortionist, just like top 40, sure, R&B, like that's like a huge thing for me. But for some reason, like when that came out, I was just like, man, like it just inspired me to push those boundaries. And
That was kind of recent too. That you guys was it when you were playing with them, wasn't it? Like
we didn't,
or you saw them.
I saw them. It was Car Bomb, Animals as Leaders, and Periphery, and all those bands just blew my mind. Like that
was
show
a couple years ago, or like
that was like a year ago, I think.
How did that, like a band like that, inspire you to approach your music? Because you were kind of going in a different direction. It's not the Car Bomb direction, but how would a band like Car Bomb influence how you made these new songs breathable? Because it was probably inspiring. Like, holy fuck, look at, because Car Bomb crushes.
Well, like
or did it apply at all?
It didn't really apply in that sense, but like they did something different for sure. And I feel like this album we did something different. Like I think there's a lot more. Like it's still crushing. I feel it still has that like progressive aspect and like drive, but I think there's a different kind of atmosphere. And I think we just changed the atmosphere of Auras as a brand and as an album. You know what I mean? Like the sounds that we use, the synth.
Did you do all that?
Yeah. So that was something that kind of brought me into this new light of writing. So usually I would start with guitar and I would start with programmed drums and I would just go ham and just write and write and write. Most of these songs I actually started with the synths. Wow. Believe it or not. And
just for shits and giggles, or
yeah, exactly. I was just approach? I wasn't even approaching writing for Auras. I got Ableton. I'm just gonna write for the sake of writing. Like I don't want to think about what people want to hear or what the guys want to hear. Like I just want to do this for myself. So I started writing the synths and kind of learned that way. And eventually it kind of just kind of opened up a new door. And I was like, I really like this sound, this cold, like vibe that I have. And I think this would really intertwine with Auras and create a new face for us. Not intentionally, but just I think it's cool. It just frames everything quite differently. And I just kept going and I kept going. And I actually I wrote a lot of the songs. I didn't show any of the guys. Like I was like, oh man, like I don't know if they're gonna like really get what I'm trying to do here. So maybe I should like sparkle it up a bit and make it presentable to them. But then at the same time, I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just gonna show it. So I ended up showing the guys, and the response was great. They're like, wow, like the atmosphere and the ambience is so different from what we were doing in the past. And that is what inspired me to just try even more, like like experiment with more out of Aura's head kind of stuff. So like, you know, bringing in hooks, and actually there's a lot of clean singing on this one. Over the
I
past
wanted to
couple
kind
of
of
years.
touch on that.
Yeah,
like,
of course. I've always liked singing. Like since I was a little kid, like I always loved melody. I always loved lead vocalists, and I always loved bands that always combined screaming with singing. Like that's just one of my favorite things. And like for me, I'm a huge R&B soul kind of fan, where, you know, the forefront is singing. And with the new atmosphere and sound that we had, I just thought it was necessary to actually try and bring in singing. And all the guys were all for it. They're like, yeah, 100%, this needs singing. Like, it would be weird if you didn't. And in the past couple of years, I've been working on my singing. I've been taking lessons.
Oh, wow.
And just practicing for my own, like for myself.
Where were you taking lessons?
I was doing lessons with Mike Semeski, formerly of Intervals, Harp Machine. He's in a band called Interloper right now.
Like over Skype? Or?
Over Skype, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
holy
this was
shit.
like 2 years ago when I started doing stuff with him. Maybe even 3 years.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah,
Yo.
I hit him up. I was like, hey man, like you know, we go way back, and I love your voice. Like, can you teach me how to sing? He's like, yeah, for sure. And honestly, like, he was so great over Skype. I was a little skeptical because it's Skype, right? Like, you're not, but he's really good at listening through the laptop mic and all that, and he was able to just really guide me on, you know, like on how to use your vocals. You know, like I was not a singer at all. Like I had like a little bit of experience from like just singing like to myself, but he really opened up my eyes and he taught me how to sing the proper way. And then like that just kind of became routine for me, like me singing all the time. And I recently did like a side project called Skywritten, and I did, you know, singing vocals on that, and that helped me build my vocal ability. And then eventually just brought it over to Aura's. So
I was like, were you afraid of the growth? I think when a band grows, there's not the fear, but the potential to lose fans, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's like, especially when you really change your sound. You either have people who are on board because they're fans of you as creators, and they're on, you know, they're down for whatever.
Yeah.
Did you? Because it's still Aura's for sure, but did you? Was there a point where you're like, "Ooh, I got to step back. We got to bring it back a little bit because we're distancing ourselves too far from the core of what it is," or is that even a thought that you worry about?
I didn't even care. Like any kind of shift or change in a band's sound, there's always going to be someone. There's always going to be a group of people who are like, "Oh, I liked your older stuff better." And
You guys probably experienced that, like,
not
not really, because I feel like
not really.
the
I feel
growth-
like Aura's fans are very loyal, and they like, you know, I feel like they're pretty open minded. The thing about progressive metal and just being a progressive band and having a progressive audience, they're already expecting change. Their minds are already open to new territory. You know what I mean? And that's just the audience that we have, and we're
awesome.
Like lucky to have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that kind of opened up the door for us to do different things. And I'm not worried. I actually think people will enjoy this. We actually did have clean singing, like on like probably like one or two songs in the past few albums. And like no one really would really say anything. They'd be like, "Oh, I love that song. Like I love that singing." Like, you know, when we were playing live, like just the amount of people that were singing the lyrics with me when I was performing it live was just eye-opening enough.
I wonder if more people, if you have a crowd of people that are Aura's fans, were a lot of them screaming along or more singing along? Because it's mostly screaming, but I, as an audience member and a fan, it's fun to sing. Even when you're listening to music in your car, it's super fun to sing along.
Yeah.
To shit, even if you can't sing, it's a little different if you're in your car screaming along.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little bit different. Like there is that
sing along
that
is a term,
connection.
not scream along.
Yeah, but the thing about singing along, it's that emotional attachment that you have with a singer, especially when they're crystal clear and there's melody. Melody is always, no matter what, like if you're doing a melody on a piano or guitar, there's some sort of connection with that. Then instead of a percussive scream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's cool to like scream along, but once you sing along, especially with a melody that's memorable, it's done. You know what I mean? Like that's never gonna leave your head for the rest of the day.
There's a one part in, it might be the last track.
Yeah.
But there's the range. I was amazed with the range, man. Like
I
didn't. It was like, oh, he's still going like to other levels. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Fuck, man.
I even remember when I was tracking it. Shout out to Dean H out of Ottawa. He was the guy who tracked, and that was like the first experience of me in a real studio tracking vocals with someone that actually knows melody and knows what they're doing.
Man, so that was the first time you were like red light. You sing now.
Yeah, it was like you're the only one in the room. Like this was like I'm used to singing in like the back of someone's bedroom with like these blankets up and like you know what I mean, and like that's cool. But his room was just beautiful, well designed. The sound, like I can't even describe. You're in that room, and it's like the silence is so loud. If that makes sense.
I've heard of that sort of thing where a room is treated super well, designed by him and his wife, and it was like I can hear everything that I was singing. That sounds stupid, but it was just like crystal clear. It was like I didn't even need it, like the monitoring. How did you do overall? Were you impressed? Like, did you do better than you thought, or was it a struggle to record?
It was way better than I thought.
Wow.
I was like pretty nervous about it because we were kind of on a time crunch at that point, and I had to finish vocals at a certain point because we only had a certain amount of time for all tracking, like drums, guitar, and Eric's vocals and stuff. So I was only allotted a certain amount of time. And to be honest, I think I did really well, and I really surprised myself. And it was pretty eye-opening to see that, like, you could go into uncomfortable territory, and like you could do it. You know what I mean? You just need to learn how to be uncomfortable to see the outcome. And there were like a couple struggles where at the end of the session where my voice was like going, and like we stopped right away. You're like, okay, yeah, like we still have 2 more days of tracking. Like just chill, relax, don't talk. Like just relax your vocals, and that was like a pretty that was the only struggle. But past all the singing, there was a struggle. So we did singing first, and then after I had to do my backup screams. Did not happen. I couldn't do it.
Because your throat.
My throat was. Wow. Yeah. After I forget how many days, it was like 4 or 5 days of tracking, maybe less. I was like, all right, let's just do these screams. Like we'll get it done in the day, and it didn't come out the way I wanted it to sound because it was just so shot.
Really?
Yeah, and then like at that point I felt like I was at risk of losing my voice completely. So there's no backup screaming from me at all this entire record. And,
wow.
So
Eric just did it, or
he did it. Yeah, like, and we didn't think it was a big loss because my singing's all over the place.
Word, yeah.
But I almost like now looking at it, I'm like, I'm so glad that I didn't, because there's no way live I'll be able to bounce back like that.
So how much of the new stuff will you incorporate once you start doing, like, majority, or will it be like half and half, old songs, new songs? Because don't you find that kind of weird if you see a band and they only play new stuff?
Oh, okay, like, gotcha.
You have to at some point, but
yeah.
But people like.
I mean,
the hits.
I think like the newer stuff is going to be played a lot, but we still have our like fan gems,
I just asked this because I think of the struggle of singing, but you're going to be sweating and playing guitar. Like, it's going to be a whole new sort of live thing for you if you're doing the majority of the new songs, which have a bunch of like singing in it. So like that's going to be my next uncomfortable but learning experience is trying to play the music and sing at the same time. Now, luckily, we thought about that beforehand. So there's parts where we're like, okay, like we're putting singing here because
it's the only time you can. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like the rhythms are not as complex as other parts. So we were choosy and made sure that I was able to do it physically on stage because, like there were some parts where like, yeah, we could put singing here. I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
because we need that guitar part. You know what I mean? So I was kind of handcuffed for some of those points, but yeah, like I think it'll be a good. I think it'll be a good mix because I feel like our fan favorite songs from like Panacea and like Crestfallen and Helios Spectrum, like they all have elements that are in this new record. Like it's not like we completely dumbed down to a pop band. That's not what happened. It's like we kept doing what we were doing. We just added a new flavor and new atmosphere to it.
Do you I don't know, what do you foresee with this record?
I see.
Like, are you hopeful? Like, every band I think wants to grow, but like, yeah, what do you see?
I see like new fans. I see new fans. I see listeners that may have listened to us in the past and was like, oh, these guys are cool, but like, I'm kind of looking for some more memorable parts, like singing or like some of the choruses that we have. And I feel like it just opens up a new door for listeners. And I think that's like the most important thing for us because, we're lucky to have such dedicated fans and loyal fans that will just keep listening to us until the bitter end.
Do you still want this to be a full-time gig, or did you ever?
So this album will determine that.
Word.
Like I of course I would like to do a full-time gig for sure. I don't think we've hit that point yet where it's like, oh, like we did it. You know what I mean? Like I think all bands are grinding right now, just like the climate of the music industry. And I think this is just like a new approach to it. And I feel like this is like our best shot.
Word.
Best shot at it, And I actually like, and I listened to the record and I'm like, yeah, like this is exactly how I envisioned it when I was younger, when I first started the band. This is how I envisioned it. And like that's the most satisfying feeling. So I just want people to hear it and enjoy it as much as we do.
Will there be a because there's a lot involved in releasing an album, like do you know when this is gonna, and like the plan, is there gonna be like we're gonna do a year of touring and we're gonna do it this and this and that, or
no plan as of right now.
Who's putting it out?
Entertainment One and Good Fight.
Okay, that's great.
Yep. I'm really excited actually.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, and they're being super supportive. They love the record and everything, so I'm stoked from that.
You gonna see if anyone asks anything?
Yeah, I'm just logging back.
So we
kicked me out for something.
this isn't live, but I should almost do this with more people where we polled on Instagram. On Instagram you can do stickers and have questions. We're gonna see if anyone asked any.
Oh yeah, I got some
legit questions.
I got some questions actually. So I mean, if we have time, we can.
Yeah, I don't know what your time schedule's like, man.
No, we could just keep going here.
We'll do a Rogan 3-hour podcast.
Yeah. So first question here. How do I view this?
Oh, let's see.
Oh, there we go. Wait, how do I view the questions?
Hold up, we're gonna figure this out.
All
We're
right.
back.
Yeah, so I got a couple questions here I can answer, and then we'll refresh it later and see more. So the first one is, when can I hear some new tunes?
That's perfect. That was almost like what I was gonna ask.
Exactly. This is from Drew Meckler. I'm hoping before the summer. I mean, excuse me. We're just trying to get things ready and packaged nicely for you guys. Like,
So yeah, what I thought that the artwork on the last one was stand out in, like, it's metal, it's like progressive metal, but it didn't look like it. Are you guys gonna do you know what the artwork's gonna be, or are you still figuring that out?
We're currently working with someone right now. I'm really excited about it actually.
Can you say who or no?
Yeah, I can. So his name's Matthew. He's done he's done stuff for like Contortionist, and like that's like his most memorable stuff. And what I really liked about his work is the realism of it. So a lot of our album artwork is it's all like graphic and digital looking and like, it's
the Contortionist.
Yeah, the Contortionist. So
Let's see what his stuff looks like.
Yeah, the Contortionist. Just put Clairvoyant. I love this artwork. It's so sick. Yeah,
that's the artwork, eh?
That's it. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's real. Like that's not digitally made.
He made it. Like he
created
and
that.
he took a photo of it.
Exactly. So that's what I
Cool.
wanted to go with this time around, because a lot of our stuff was, like I was saying, digitally made or just graphic designs. I wanted more realism this time. Like I felt like the lyrics were realer. I felt like the music was a lot more organic this time. And so we came with a more organic approach. So he's got some guy taking a picture. I don't want to give away what it looks like, but I'm excited for the concept that we have going on.
Cool.
So, yeah, and I'm super excited about that one.
Are you guys going to press this, or is this just going to be a digital thing?
We're pressing it.
You're pressing it?
There might be vinyl.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Just gonna say that.
Sorry, but summer, you're saying, to answer the question.
I mean, yeah.
Sometime
Sometime in the summer.
Hopefully.
We're just focusing on, like I said, packaging it. So we want to get that music video ready.
Okay. Do you have an idea for the video already?
We're in talks right now. Don't want to say much.
Yeah.
But I really want an artist to really take this home and do it.
Cool.
You know what I mean? The past concept we've had was all made within the band in-house. And which is cool. Like it's always nice to be able to collaborate on that and go and be a part of it. But I want someone to listen to the song that we chose, and I want them to just make something from what they visualize.
Cool.
Like I have my certain themes that I want brought across, but I want them to give their piece.
Cool.
And that same goes for the artwork. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, I want it this way. Like I was like, this is like what I'm going for. Like please have all the freedom to do whatever you want.
You trust the artist. That's why you pick them, right?
Exactly.
They have a skill.
Yeah, and like I don't want to have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know
Did you do the last one?
No. The last
Helio.
No, we didn't. But like we had a lot of like discussions about it. Like it was how I wanted it, like almost to the T.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't want to come in this time. I want them to have their freedom.
That's cool, man. I think that's great too. When even with working with a producer, like it's another angle on what you're creating.
Exactly, and I think that's what we're trying to do is like, let's just focus on the music and like let's just build a team that everyone does what they do best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like really cool, and it's just like it's exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're given some product reflecting your music instead of you being like, I want this, and
totally
gets it done. So,
all right, what's the next question here?
Yeah. The next question we have is runtime. How many songs?
Runtime.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 songs. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll say runtime.
Did you cut some or?
Yes.
Did you just squeeze in 10?
No, actually, I would say we had at least 12 or 13 songs worth, but 10 of them really like stood out to us the most.
What are you gonna do with the other ones?
I don't know. Maybe bring it in for the next album, or I don't know. Like some of the songs that we didn't include, like we felt like it wasn't fitting the theme as much, and maybe we'll save it for another time. Like we don't have to squeeze everything in, and like these 10 songs, they all kind of coincide with each other in a certain way, and I just wanted to keep it nice and round.
Cool.
10 songs. Like before we went for pre-production, we had like that amount, and then we went into pre-production and left with 10.
Word.
Versus, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it was a good decision. So yeah, that's the runtime on that. Cool. Next question. Oh yeah, that was from Insta Swag, but he has got 5s, 4s, and 6s. That's sick.
Let me see. What?
Yeah, Insta Swag.
Oh, okay.
Sick. That's a good question. This one's from It looks like martial arts, but it's like missing the L, so it's like material arts. Heaviness / gent level from 1 to Meshuggah.
That's a weird question.
It is a weird question, but
Heaviness?
I guess like basically how genty is it? I think is what he's asking. Okay, so like there's everything's sprinkled. Like there's like heavy ass songs on there, but then there's also a lot more laid back, and there's a lot more breathable songs. So I think if I were to, like it literally goes from 1 to, I wouldn't say Meshuggah because no one could be Meshuggah.
Yeah.
But like we've got a range
Word.
of moods, I would say,
Yeah.
and vibes. So
There's your answer.
yeah, there's your answer.
Marcia Arts.
Polyidos, is it trippy?
Depends what drugs you're on, man.
Exactly. So I mean, it will be super trippy. I feel like if you took mushrooms.
Well, the way you've described it and the way I've listened to it is, it is a trip. It's a little more concise. I feel like as far as
yes, that's a good word actually.
like it's heavy progressive music, but not as sporadic. And not that the stuff before was like crazy sporadic, but this is a little more honed and focused. Which that in itself might be a trip to someone who's expecting,
right?
You know, it's gonna be either or. I feel like bands either, well, not all bands, but it can be like, which direction are they going? Are they gonna be more crushing, or are they gonna be more experimental, or they're not going to repeat the same album, so like what are those differences going to be? So that might be a trip.
That might be a trip. I mean, so we're still heavy, but just a different kind of heavy, you know what I mean? And that's all I could really say. I mean, I find the synth production like pretty trippy. Also speaking of the synths, you mentioned if I did it. So I did it, but I also did it with a good friend of mine in King's production. Okay. He's like the EDM duo, and he helped me write or create sounds. Okay. After I created and wrote it, he came in and he like helped me with the sound design.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool,
so like that. Shout out to Josh Polaz from King's. He really he knows what he's doing. He's doing big things right now.
Did we talk about the name of the album? Or is that to be announced? TBA.
I'm not gonna say.
It's literally the album's called TBA.
It's TBA. Yeah. No, we didn't talk about it, and we're not going to this time around.
I was gonna ask about lyrics as far as who's writing them and kind of things you touched on, and like when you write, do you write happy stuff? Sad stuff? Like there's themes that anyone can touch on. I find it interesting if you're an aggressive band and you're touching on happy topics
like love.
Yeah, like what sort of things were you exploring in your lyrics this time?
Yep,
that's different from others, the other stuff.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So in terms of writing lyrics, I write all the lyrics, and like there's not like a certain approach that I go about writing lyrics. Like some of them I wrote without music. Some of them I wrote it to the music. Some of it I had an idea and I wrote knowing what the music sounded like and wrote to it that way. But the way I write lyrics is I write them and like I just get in the moment of how I'm feeling and then I just write it. I don't like wake up like I'm gonna do an aggressive song today. I'm gonna I just write what I feel. And like especially if I'm listening to the instrumentals and I'm like, it makes me feel this kind of way, this kind of mood. Like mood is like a huge thing throughout it. And like I just felt like that's just how I should approach it. So some of the songs are about they're like sci-fi-ish kind of like Black Mirror, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Some of them are like really close to the heart. Like one of them I write about like my parents or just parents in general.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into the lyrics, but basically that's like one of them. And then one of them is about it's about the earth and like just picturing like what if the earth decided to just fuck us all. Like the mother nature just woke up and was like, fuck these guys.
Fuck these idiots.
And it's like a sci-fi approach,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of just let my mind go with that one, and that one's really cool.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a fun way to approach lyrics, because I used to write a lot of lyrics,
Right.
but it had to be like when I'm really feeling something.
Right,
but like,
right.
why not have fun with it and be creative and write a story? Like,
Honestly, Contortionist, their Exoplanet album is about, it's like a story about planetary stuff. Like basically finding a new planet and like trying to create that as a new atmosphere, and it's really cool. But I mean, like it's fun,
It's like all over the place. Like the heartfelt
Yep.
stuff, kind of sci-fi stuff,
Yep.
kind of like
It's like it all follows a certain theme, but it's just the way I like to write. Like I like to explore and like create a narrative, basically. So there's usually like a story behind each song and a message, but it's all pretty. I feel like you can listen to this or you can read the lyrics and like find something that connects to you more.
huh.
You know what I mean? I don't make it too specific. I make it very broad, but you get the idea. Like you'll be able to figure out what I'm talking about, but I feel like you can spin it into your own life and create something with it.
Well, I think that's how people connect, with
Exactly.
Like I was I was watching Harry Potter, and I was a little stoned. I was pretty stoned, and I forgot about. Like I don't let myself enjoy things sometimes. I don't know why, but in the moment I was like, oh, this is why I really liked Harry Potter, because I read the books first, and that's a great way to like transport yourself into that.
Exactly.
Like if I was Harry Potter. There's this connection you get, and even with lyrics, if you can connect to some sort of lyric and put yourself there as if you were experiencing that, I feel like that's a part of music that's amazing, especially with good lyrics, where you like are connecting with someone else's thoughts, or it speaks to you in a way that's like, wow, that's about me or about what I'm experiencing.
Well, exactly. It's like you read it and you're like, what? Like it's like he's or she is talking about my story, and it's that connection where you get attached to the lyrics because it means so much to you and whatever you're going through.
Do you think it's hard to like make a cohesive album that touch on so many different things? Because in my head, it's like if you have an album that's a certain theme, like it's almost like every song kind of almost has to tie into that theme, like or you know what I mean? Because you're touching on so many things lyrically that. Is it just like this is a piece of work and there's like chapters to it, or does it all tie into like one sort of theme? I guess it depends on the album.
So some of them do and some of them don't. Like I feel like if you were to put them all together, they don't connect all together. Like certain songs relate with other songs and other songs relate with those other songs, and you'll be able to
been in
tell.
the past.
No,
like with other albums.
No,
or?
just this album. It's got like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's basically it's all its own thing, separated. Like there's like I would say there's like sub stories and just stories that are happening around it, but at the end of the day, like it's the same kind of tone.
I think that must be hard to title an album, because it's like auras. This album's called this, but this is
Exactly.
the umbrella under which all these songs fall under. So like,
Right.
what is it going to be called?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to hear when it gets announced.
Yeah. I mean, you should know it's on there, but anyways.
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if anyone else asks questions.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Just loading up here.
Instagram is dope for this type of shit.
I
Like
know,
they keep adding cool little features.
It is really cool. Okay, so this is from dude.zez. So I'm guessing like deuces. Any upcoming shows near upstate New York? I'd hope so. Sure. I would love to play New York again. Yeah. Hopefully soon. And I think that's it for now.
Where do you guys, when you're in New York, where do you guys play, or where have you played, or have you played?
We've played Brooklyn.
What venue do you remember?
Coco 99 or something like that.
Weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I just remember that place had no AC or fans, so I just remember like finishing the set completely drenched in my own sweat. And it was great. It felt nice.
Do you think
It was packed.
It was packed.
Yeah, it was like a Friday night. I'm pretty sure.
Sick, man.
Yeah, that's great.
When you are touring in the past, you guys rented a van, right?
Yeah, that was like usually that's usually what we do. Yeah.
This should be a question off the podcast, but just because Sabatini, we're trying to figure out how to do stuff. And like my van's kind of dying. Those guys live far away, so we talked about renting a van, this and that. You guys you did have a trailer too.
For a couple tours, we had a trailer, but for the most part, we tried not to.
It's more of a question. I guess you must have had decent guarantees to afford the expense of renting a van and a trailer.
Well, if you think about this, like if we're just renting a van, like it's not as expensive as you think.
What is it, like a day?
I can't remember, but like for a tour, it would be like 15 or 1600 Canadian.
Okay. Not gas though.
Not gas, no. But like the thing is, we never brought cabs, so that's why we never really needed a trailer. So we only have 4 guys, so we never really needed the space for, like, we had all the space we needed. You know what I mean?
Well, was it a van with a roof rack?
No, we just like stuffed the van and then
Caravan?
yeah, it was like a soccer mom van, like a Sienna or like and we would just kind of share gear with like one of the bands in the States. You know what I mean? That was like the big thing, and like a lot of them would just say yes because
like drums mostly.
Yeah, drums.
Take
Drums.
So much
drums
space.
was the main one because like that way their drums are already on the stage, and all they have to do is go up and put up their kick, and it's very easy for them to transition.
Has every tour you've done included another band? Have you guys ever gone out solo?
No.
Because you almost couldn't
No,
without a trailer.
We've done like Ottawa and Montreal, but like
even then, borrowing gear.
no, we brought our own stuff, so we would either like drive separately or
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean. I think it was driving separately is what did it. Yeah, like we were just lucky enough to have only 4 guys, because you didn't have a bass player, and then the gear that we would have, we would just connect to the house system and then just play that way.
Yeah, that's our problem. We have so much fucking gear.
Yeah, like the bass cab alone is just like that's like 4 or 5 seats right there.
Well,
in
Mark
the car.
has 2 810s.
There you go.
And a half stack. 2 half stacks.
2 half stacks. See, like
and heads.
Yeah, like we just recently learned and was able to. It was a hard thing to adjust to, not having cabs, but once you get used to it, like it's totally worth it, especially if you're just starting out. You know what I mean? Like
it's what's your setup again? What is your setup?
So we had Pod HD 500.
So that 500s. Is a thing.
It's a floorboard. It's like a floor pedal board.
Okay.
By Line 6, and what we would do is we would just put that on stage, get an XLR, put it into a house system, and then we're done.
Now and then they can feed that into your monitors. You guys don't have in-ears.
We didn't have in-ear monitors. We had monitors on stage.
Do you have
so
in-ears
like
now?
that's always that we're getting into that. So like that's what we're trying to get, because at that point then you don't need monitoring at the front except maybe like vocals if you wanted a little bit more vocals instead of just hearing it in his ears, right? So yeah, like that's like the next step for us, and we know a lot of bands have done it. So, and we have a guy who's gonna help us create it. So it's gonna be easy, and a lot of bands are just going that route. There's no point to have those big cabs anymore.
It's so different worlds, right? Because like all the dudes I know are like, no way, we need our cabs.
Well, like trust me, I was the same. Like we all had cabs. Like that's what we were using. But then like when we were like, oh, we gotta go tour, like
how do we make this
work? And then we're like, Aaron was like, well, why don't we just do in-house systems? And I was like, I don't know if that's gonna sound good. Like I don't know if like we'll be at the mercy of certain venues, which was true. But for the most part, we were able to make it work, and it was like just so easy. And like some of the bands that were on the road with us were a little envious because it's like, I can't believe you can get that tone through that. It's like, hey man, like this.
That's what's so odd. Not odd, but that's where it just wouldn't work for us because we're not playing venues that are suited for that. Like some venues,
not us either though.
But like
sometimes we only would have like 2 monitors, so like we'd have to share with Eric.
Well, but that's just it. Like venues we're playing don't have monitors.
Right. Yeah, we had some of those too.
Have
where
you had that? Where
we've
it's
had
like,
that, and
you
like
just borrow a cab then at that point. Or?
not even like you would just like make it work. Like we would just go and like off the stage or something. I don't know.
Figure
We've
it
done
out.
some stupid shit, and renting cabs was like some that like borrowing it from bands was like one of the things.
What's your guitar? I don't think we talked about this ever. They're pedals.
Yeah, so
What do you
it's
have?
a Line 6 HT500.
So it's your guitar into that,
Yep.
and that's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No like tuner, no
Tuner's
Boss
in
tuner.
It's no Boss tuner. The tuner's
It's
built
in there. Everything.
Yeah, it's everything you need.
Wow.
But like we're gonna be upgrading, so like I probably won't be using that Line 6 anymore. Maybe like a Kemper or an Axifex, like which one comes first. We want to be able to just hook everything to a laptop and have the laptop change the tones for us.
Wow. So you would feed your pedal board
Into
into
the-
a laptop,
Correct.
and then out to the board.
Yep. So the laptop would essentially just go out to the board,
Wow.
and like it would signal tone changing.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a bass player yet?
No.
You take me on tour one day and just let it feed through the PA, and I'll just do sick moves.
We've done that actually with some people on
Really?
tour.
Really?
Yeah, we'd be like, yo, just like come up on here, like don't even plug in and just like pretend you're playing. And I think like 2 or 3 bands have done that, and it's actually hilarious. And it's and people don't even notice. Like
I'm
that's
sure.
that's the best part. They're
I'm
just
sure.
like, oh man, that guy's fucking
bass
shredding.
player rips.
He fucking rips.
Just
man.
slapping bass. It's
Yeah,
like there's no bass here.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's like the future of what we want to do.
Fuck, man.
And a lot of bands do that actually. Like I can name a bunch that actually go with that route.
Different worlds.
It's
bro.
a different world.
That's the best thing actually I've loved about our friendship over these years is my exposure to the other world of it. You guys are doing it differently, and it's fascinating. I love these talks because it's like
We're just lucky to have technology on our side, to be honest.
word, yeah.
Like
This was the '80s.
yeah, like I didn't think it was gonna end up being like this. I was like, oh yeah, we gotta get the cab, we gotta get the trailer, and then we gotta do all this, and this. But we found a way to make it work, and we do it. There are sacrifices, like 100%. There are sacrifices, but
Like tonal sacrifices.
tonal, being able to hear yourself. Like there's some shows where I'd be like fuck, like I didn't even hear myself at all.
Yeah, you're
like,
on the mercy of. Do you guys ever bring sound guys? Like that would.
Yeah, we do sound like, and you know what, that helps.
for sure.
Is having a sound guy, and they know exactly like what we want in our monitors and like what balance bass to that balance, and it's great. We've played some shows where there's just the in-house sound guy literally does not, like, he's so happy that we have no cabs, but then like he just doesn't
Fucks it up.
he just doesn't treat it the same, you know what I mean? And
Figure
it is
out.
what it is, right? So, but like eventually, like we'll be able to upgrade from there. We'll be able to like actually spend money and have a real van or bus or whatever. Like,
Do you guys tour with lights?
no, but that is actually like a growing idea
Hmm.
for a lot of bands right now.
I
because
saw-
the visuals are huge right now.
I saw Revocation in Toronto, and they had
A serious light rig.
serious light rig, and it's hilarious because it's hard at Hard Luck, and it's not a big stage, so
Yeah.
they're like playing on the lights basically.
Yeah, Hard
but
Luck.
but like fuck, man, it
It adds so much
it
to
added
the
so
show.
much. It
You
was
have-
it was fantastic.
I've
oh my God.
seen contortionists with their lights, and oh my god, like Jerry Sell, he's their main light guy. He programs it and he does stuff on the board.
So many levels,
and
man.
and
to
it's
this shit.
crazy. He's like literally this musician, light musician. Like he knows when things are supposed to be swelled up, and he's just incredible. We watched them was it in Toronto? No, it was London. Yeah, it was in London, and I was just, he got me like in the main booth, and like he was just doing it, and I was like, man, this is insane. Like the Meshuggah guy, for example, that guy, there's no program. He just lights it to the rhythms.
He's live. Like
Yes,
I
there's a light through,
saw
a light playthrough.
Really? There's a light playthrough on YouTube.
Meshuggah. Yo, you look it up.
Whoa.
It's nutty. This is where you get Jamie from Joe Rogan. Yo, pull that shit up.
Yeah, Jesus, I got no Jamie. I saw Gwar and their light guy dude, it was like, do you remember old Commodore computers with that big built-in ball that was the mouse? Like,
Oh yeah.
like it
yeah.
was literally like this big.
Yeah.
It was basically one of those, but it was a long like rolling pin, and he would just like do some stuff and roll it up and do the next bunch of shit.
What?
Yeah, it was bananas, dude.
That shit like that's like advanced shit that you don't even know about.
That's
you know what I
we.
mean?
There's a lot of shit we don't know.
Yeah,
about.
that's
These
like,
pros. What
Yeah,
they got.
exactly. Like once you get to a certain point, like anything's possible. Like I heard that, I forget what band it was, but their sound guy, because they were hooked up to a laptop and the feeding to the board, he programmed the board to just mix according to the album, and then like he didn't really have to do anything.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and it was just like he just plugged it in and just like made sure everything was good and just like let it play.
Just had a beer.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm gonna go take a piss. Like he just like
Damn.
literally just leaves. But
Dude, so this is a good length to. I tried to, because we can ramble and ramble, but I try
Yeah,
to
of course.
just make it
No, of
a
course.
certain thing. So I guess it's going to be coming out close to the summer. Do you want to check one last round of questions?
yeah, of course. If there's any.
These
Actually,
are all like actual questions. Usually it's just like, fucking, what's your favorite movie, man?
dick, man?
You really want to know? I can tell you.
All of them are just.
We hit them all? You'll get more after this episode, I'm sure, as far as like...
You know what's weird is that Blue Sky Thinking, he just goes, did discovering car bomb change the writing process? Is this
Wow.
live? Like,
Jeez.
like,
it was me, bro.
that's crazy. Wow. You literally asked that.
Yeah, huh?
It didn't, but it inspired me.
There you go.
Just because they were just insane. That's not even a question. Just dropped the album on us already.
Oh, yeah.
And then two of them are just like release date, question mark. And then the rest of them are.
So summer-ish. Well, let's do the Hibzine, but we can't play anything off the new shit.
No.
But I don't know. Any homies? Any cool band that I could play in here? Like, I think it depends. YouTube will flag shit, but well, I'll find out. Like, the smaller the band, the better, because then it doesn't get flagged.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Let's see. I think
This is how I used to do it. I'm like,
I think you should put Car Bomb on.
Car Bomb. Okay. Any track in particular?
I think it's called. Hold on, let me find it here. This was the one song where I listened, was like, what? It's Sets.
SETS.
Yeah, unreal song. Like, it's one of those songs where you're taken on a journey for sure, but then like you're questioning their thought process for writing it, but also playing it. Doesn't even make sense. The drummer, like, it doesn't even.
Cool.
And they don't play on a click. So
What, really? How do you know?
I just know
Huh.
they don't play on a click, because like one of the photographers that was on that tour told me, he was like, listen, they don't go on a click.
That's fucked.
Yeah, it is fucked. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, I'll put Car Bomb's Sets in right here. That was Car Bomb Sets right there. But fuck, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, when it drops, obviously let me know. And
yeah, of course.
people listening, you can follow. What's the Instagram? What are all the social media shits?
Well, I mean, our Instagram is like purged right now. We just don't have anything on it. But it's Auras. Oh, I've changed it so many times. This is embarrassing. It's just Auras_official on Instagram, and then you could just do Facebook.com/AurasOfficial.
Cool, man. I'm excited to hear, and we'll talk about this again in like a year or something.
Yeah,
as far
for sure.
as
I'm looking
how
forward to
it
it.
turned out.
Yeah, no,
Maybe it'll be too big for this podcast. Like,
No,
I
we'll-
only do
we'll-
Rolling Stone, bro.
No, we'll still be
Yeah.
living in mom's basement. That's for sure.
Okay, cool. Let me think. Anything else? I don't think so.
That's it,
man.
man.
Thanks.
No, thank you for having me on
Man,
again.
anytime, man.
Looking forward to the next time.
Hell yeah. All right, Deadly, thank you for listening. What can I say? If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram yet, you can do that. Take Her Wide Podcast. I'm trying to post more throwbacks, related information that relates to the guests. I always like Instagram. It's a fun way to, I don't know. I don't really do Twitter. I don't really do Snapchat, but I definitely have an Instagram. So if you haven't followed it, follow that. If you guys can also like the Facebook page, that'll help me out. It's just Take Her Wide. I think Facebook.com/Take Her Wide. You can find it there. There's a bunch of old episodes on the homepage, takeherwide.com. I have t-shirts. You can go to takeherwide.com and click on merch and order some there. Designed by Sean Arsenian, a.k.a. Wormzilla, and printed by Ironclad Graphics. What else can I say? All love to the sponsors here. Let me bang these guys out. We have Los Cabos Drumsticks, Canada's #1 drumstick manufacturer. Go to loscabosdrumsticks.com. You can find more. HeartbeatHotSauce.com for the hot sauce from Thunder Bay. Use promo code TakerWide5. Save 5% on your big-ass cart. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. He's located at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. Mention the show and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. Ironclad Graphics, a silk screening company from Kingston. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive. They've done tons of work for me. They're a great company. And Wellington Brewery. DapperBeardOil.com is a beard oil company from Ottawa. Make really good stuff. Support small business and order from Andrew. And then Wellington Brewery, wellingtonbrewery.ca, Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery. Delicious beers. I think that's all the stuff I need to say for the show. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for consistently supporting this. I don't know. What else can I say? That's it. Never know how to wrap these things up, but I love you guys. Thank you so much. Besos, and I'll see you guys next week. Or I guess I'll talk to you in your headphones next week. Okay, peace.